Charalampos Kostoulas fired home an audacious bicycle kick equaliser to lift Brighton's spirits after a controversial VAR penalty. Jaws hit the deck when the Greek 18-year-old, who had not long come off the bench, took a touch, with his back to goal, to tee himself up for a contender for goal of the season on 90 minutes. Sign up for the football newsletter. Thank you. Charalampos Kostoulas stole the show with his audacious overhead kick credit, PA. The stunning goal rescued a point for his side at homeCredit. Reuters. The Amex had turned into a bear pit last night, and it all began on the half-hour mark as Amine Adli bulldozed towards goal but was clipped on his thigh by an onrushing Bart Verbruggen. Referee Paul Tierney initially waved penalty shouts away, and booked Adli for simulation. But VAR urged him to have another look, and after a lengthy consultation with the monitor, he changed his mind, prompting a cacophony of boos in the Amex. Tavernier stepped up and danced his twinkle toes on the spot before slotting a low drive into the corner on 31 minutes. Read more in football. Adli's booking for diving was also rescinded as the away fans jumped for joy in their cozy nook of the Amex. Brighton had looked the brighter side early on with a number of tiki-taka-esque passing sequences between the likes of Pascal Gross, Brighton Gruda and Danny Welbeck. One sequence even resulted with German midfielder Gruda stinging the hands of George Petrovic with a peach of a shot. Bournemouth had barely had a sniff on the ball, let alone a shot, until Evanilson curled an effort towards Verbruggen, who comfortably mopped up the damage. Most read in football. Best free bets and betting sign-up offers. Marcus Tavernier's controversial penalty looked set to hand Bournemouth the win headed into injury time. Credit, Shutterstock editorial. It seemed to give the Cherries the shot in the arm they needed as the controversial penalty arrived. Bournemouth were loving it from there, and Jimenez darted into Brighton's half before releasing Evanilson, who rattled the post, but the flag went up for offside, so it wouldn't have counted anyway. Just before the stroke of halftime, Evanilson nodded a header agonizingly close to goal after latching onto an inch-perfect Adrian Truffert cross. It was no surprise when Tierney was serenaded to a rendition of "You're Not Fit to Referee" from the home fans when he walked towards the tunnel at the break. Tempers were flaring, and Alex Jimenez screamed in Kaoru Maitoma's face when he made a crucial block. The Japanese winger, on his 100th Prem appearance, grinned and did a blah blah gesture with his hand back at the Cherries' fullback. It was a scrappy second half, and there was then a scuffle between Jan-Paul van Hecke and Alex Scott in the box. Tavernier capitalized after VAR intervened to rescind the referee's initial decision of simulation. Credit, Reuters. It was a busy day for the winger defensively. A few minutes later, Marcos Senesi was booked for body-checking Van Hecke, prompting uproar from the home supporters. The resulting free kick from 35 yards out was sent to the back post, but Lewis Dunk could only nod it wide of goal. Brighton boss Fabian Herzler had seen enough and made a triple change with Carlos Baliba, Yankuba Minta and Jorginho Rutter coming on. It was the first time that Bournemouth were looking a little ragged, but they used the dark arts of time wasting to try and see them through. Brighton were seething as Junior Krupi was booked for not leaving the pitch at the closest point and walking all the way across it. Van Hecke was left screaming in frustration, and his face was red with fury after then being booked by Tierney for a clean slide tackle. Recommended stories. The hosts weren't going out without a fight and Petrovic did well to push over a rasping Minta shot. Kostoulas came on 77 minutes in, and just as livid Brighton fans were pouring to the nearest exits, Van Heck teed him up to produce a moment of magic that will make them think twice about leaving early next time. Kostoulas barely needed to touch the ball to have an impact.